Please.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Truth and Rhythm, brought to you by funkandstuff.net. This is the interview show that gets deep in the pocket with contemporary music's foremost masters of the groove. I'm your host, ScottG Goldfine, musicologist and author of Everything's on the One, the First Guide to Funk. If you don't have your copy, get on over to Amazon and pick one up. You'll be so glad you did. Whether you're watching the video version of this at funkandstuff.net or on YouTube, or listening to the audio-only podcast version from providers like iTunes and Spotify, as always, I thank you so much for your continued interest and support in the show. Speaking of which, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the Funk and Stuff channel on YouTube. That's where Truth and Rhythm lives. All kinds of goodies. You'll get early premieres, and it's all free, so make sure you sign up. Tell a friend, tell family. Also get your official Truth and Rhythm and Funk and Stuff gear at the funkandstuff.net store. Cool stuff like I'm wearing right here. Truth and Rhythm shirts. Show your support and love of the show and also the musicians and the music that they represent. Also want to give a shout out to the Funk Exhibition Center and Hall of Fame in Dayton, Ohio, of which I'm very proud to be an official funk ambassador. Go to thefunkcenter.org to learn more and keep the funk alive. And now, with all that, it's time to get on with the show. Enjoy. I'm delighted to welcome to the Truth and Rhythm Mothership a man who not only spent years as Prince's personal bodyguard and provided similar services for others in that camp like Vanity and Morris and the Time, but also worked concert security for at least a dozen leading funk and soul acts of the 1970s and 1980s. That man is Wally Safford, whose recently released memoirs book is titled Wally, Where'd You Get Those Glasses? My Life Through the Lens of Parliament, Pendergrass and Prince. Here's a copy right there. Recommended highly. Wally, thank you so much for joining me. How are you today?
Great. My pleasure.
Outstanding.
Always good to connect with the Purple family.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, lifelong for me. Where are you coming to us from today?
Southfield, Michigan.
Michigan.
Detroit, Michigan, coming out of the D, Detroit.
Yeah, and that's where you hail from, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
The Motown.
Motown.
Yeah, there you go, Motown.
Yeah. So
all the magic happened.
Yeah, what was it like growing up in that musical environment?
Oh man, it's like going to Disneyland. You know, it was an adventure every day. You know, growing up, you know, being around the Parliament Funkadelics and the Dramatics, Temptations, Supremes, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. I mean, it was a normal day on my block because, you know, you'll see them every day. You know, Levi Stubbs from the Four Tops, you know, stuff like that.
So did that inspire? I mean, all that music inspired more great music, right? So it's like just kind of
absolutely,
yeah.
So you know, I mean, as a kid, you know, I wasn't looking to get into the business. It just happened. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. You know, with the Commodore tour.
Yeah.
You know, 75, 76, 77. You know, the Commodore Lionel Richie. You know, he was an amazing guy. He's an amazing guy. You know, that was the Lionel Richie and the Commodores, but no one believed me when I told them that until Lionel left. It was Lionel Richie and the Commodores.
What year was it when you hooked up with them, Wally?
It was 76, 75, 76.
Yeah. So like around the Sweet Love
Oh
era.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Once, 3 times a lady, brick house, all of that.
Yeah. But how did you first kind of fall into doing that?
Doing security for my brother-in-law and his partner, Quentin Perry and Billy Sparks.
Billy Sparks. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, and in reading your book, I mean, I was amazed. I had no idea you came from such a huge family.
Yeah.
Wow. So tell the people you're like one of 15 or 16?
15.
Wow. And the baby, right?
Absolutely.
How many years span was there from the eldest to you?
Say it again.
How old was your oldest sibling?
Well, I got a sister in her 90s in Cleveland.
Wow.
My oldest sister, Thelma, she's 90s, 93, 94.
Wow. So what about the way that you came up, do you think made you suited to do the security type of role?
Well, my upbringing, the Nation of Islam, I had the security training. I was, we was a perfect fit. Me and the Purple Gang, we was a purple fit.
So you worked the Commodore's tour. Did you ever run into did you have to knock any heads together doing that?
Well, I'm a thinker, Scott. I diffuse situations. I don't cause situations. I diffuse a lot of them.
Hmm.
You can walk away from craziness. Just walk away. It's okay to walk away. But I had got my hands dirty. Didn't have a problem. That didn't happen until the Dirty Mind tour.
So, but after the Commodores, you had a few more steps. You mentioned George Clinton Parliament. That's a wild scene. What can you
Oh
share?
yeah,
What
yeah,
can you
yeah,
share
yeah.
with us from being on the road with those guys?
Oh man, I did everything. I did everything. Sell popcorn, concessions. I did everything with George and them. Security, everything. George a genius, man. He's a genius. Yeah, he's a genius, man. George, that was the funk. That was Parliament Funkadelic. But I was seeing George and them around the city in Detroit at United Sound and in the neighborhoods in the backyard rehearsing and stuff. So it was normal to see them, back in the day when Fuzzy Haskell and all them was together with Glenn Goins. They were playing on the recreation bandstand shells, like at not the amusement park, but the ethnic festival downtown on the water. That's when I first encountered them in the early '70s.
So, had you been to any of their concerts before you started working with them?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Did you get to see the mothership land?
Oh yeah, I seen the mothership and where it was stored at. Yes.
Wow. And those were some crazy shows because they played such big venues.
Well, they played stadiums and they played arenas, big arenas and stadiums. Yes. One Nation Under Groove tour.
Yeah. So you said you sold concessions. Were you selling flashlights?
Yeah, the Bob gun, all of that. I was
Yeah.
selling everything. Oh yeah.
Wow. Um, how was that audience? Was that audience more rowdy than like the Commodore's audience?
Oh no, no, that P Funk crowd is all totally different. They smoking the bomb. They smoking that Kush. They smoking that marijuana. They smoking marijuana and having a good time.
Yeah. So they were generally mellow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Except for, I went to a Bootsy concert in '78, and some of those guys were doing the angel dust too. And that wasn't
Well,
as,
whatever was on the market, they did it.
yeah.
Whatever on the market, they did it, Scott.
And who else? Who are some of the other people that you worked with prior to Prince?
Earth, Wind, and Fire. Um, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I worked with Teddy Pendergrass,
Mm-hmm.
Luther Vandross, the OJs, Barry White, Confunction, LTD, Heat Wave. Let me see who else. Heat Wave. It's so many. I mean, Clark Duke Project.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, George Duke, the Stanley Clark Project. The Jazz Crusaders. War with Lee Oscar and Papa D and them. You know. Let me see who else. Bruce Springsteen.
Oh,
Bob Seger.
another Detroit guy there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Night Moves. You
Yeah.
know that's yeah. So oh yeah. So you know Bob's manager, Bill Blackwell, and my brother-in-law, they was roommates at Michigan State.
So is that how you kind of went from one to the other? Was it just people recommended you, or?
Well, like I said, we always worked with my brother-in-law, Billy Sparks and Quentin Perry, because they always had Prince's tours. You know, because Prince toured during the winter.
Okay. So of all those groups you mentioned, other than Prince, um, which one or two stands out the most for having, you just seemed the most amazing to you performance-wise?
I mean, his Prince's tours.
Other than Prince, those other acts that you all named, who do you think was most amazing performance-wise?
I would say Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
Yes, and Stevie Wonder. Don't leave out the genius now, Stevie Wonder.
Okay, you did Stevie too.
Yeah, Stevie
Wow.
Wonder. Maze, Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Oh. Man, that's a who's who of all the greats.
Yeah, I was at Frankie when they recorded that live at the Sanger Theater in New Orleans.
Oh yeah.
I was on that tour.
Huh. Wow.
Hmm.
That's a classic right there.
Oh yeah.
And Earth, Wind, and Fire, were they doing the illusions and stuff like that by the time?
Yeah, yeah. Doug Henning was the illusionist. Him and David Copperfield. Yeah, so they were. You know, the music was there. It was just what gimmick they was gonna have. You know, it was like what gimmick are they gonna come up with next? So, you know, people knew the music was great, but they was just wondering what act or gimmick they was gonna come up with. So, you know, they had the silicones, the pyramids, and you know, the capsules they disappeared in.
Verdine on the cables.
Oh yeah, flying through the air. You know, had Freddie on the drums spinning around. Hmm.
Did you go out of the country with them?
No, just the U.S.
Okay.
I didn't have my passport then.
Were you by chance working with them in '79?
Yes,
Because I saw their Forum show. I think it was either 78 or '79. The LA Forum, Los Angeles. That's where I was living then.
yes. That's when they had the pyramids, right? I think they were in the pyramids.
Yeah, I don't remember. Unfortunately, it's so long ago. I don't remember that much about it.
Right,
But that was the big show that I saw there. I have the program somewhere, so I have proof. and
right,
a T-shirt.
right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think the T-shirt was like the phoenix symbol
Yes,
with the wings. Yeah,
right.
yeah. So you first connected with Prince in what year?
79.
'79.
Hmm.
I saw his first West Coast show at the Roxy in Hollywood in '78 or '9, right
Hmm.
around that time. Um, he only had the second album out at that time.
Okay.
I Want to Be Your Lover was out. So is that when you connected with him, when that second album was out?
Yes.
And what was your experience first meeting him?
Well, I said this kid is something different. He got the it factor. You know, he was just something different. You know, I mean, he was opening up for Rick James, and he was just burning up the charts with that Prince album. Because he didn't tour with the first album yet. That he didn't come out till the second album.
There's been so much talk about that Rick James and Prince tour. Did you sense any tension between the Rick and Prince on that show?
Well, they stole some of his equipment. Yeah, it was a little riff. I mean, I don't know any pun intended. I don't know if it was just for pranks or what. I don't know, but he definitely was. It was a little jealousy there. It was that the tension was there.
Jealousy of Rick of Prince or Prince of Rick?
No, Rick of Prince.
Yeah.
Well, the opening act, got you working harder when you come on the stage. Scott, that's not a good thing. That's not good. When you got the opening act, you got to work hard to get your crowd back up. Most of them just walking out before the show is over. Because Prince, he wore them out.
Ironically, Prince experienced a little bit of that himself a couple years later with the Time opening for him,
well,
right?
Absolutely. What goes around comes around, right? Absolutely.
I saw it's like 82 or I think was the Prince Vanity and Time show at the Long Beach Arena.
Yes.
Do you remember that one? Yeah, I was at that one. And the Time, man, they kicked butt.
Oh yeah. The Time, they was pushing. They was all smashing on all cylinders when they came out. It was a hand. He didn't expect that project to take off like that, Scott. He really didn't. He didn't expect that to take off. But hey, as it was written, he had to take them off of some of the billing because they were too much to handle, especially like in the big cities, New York and LA. He didn't want them on the show.
And then they were kind of too much off stage too, right? From what I was hearing in the hotels and everything.
Oh yeah. They was wild and loose. Yeah, they was wild and loose.
Like the song, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So there we go. Can you see me now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I could see the whole time. It's just now you're a little bit lower in the picture.
Okay.
So, but you also worked with, did security for the Time themselves, right?
Yes, with Morris, yes. And the guy.
Yeah. So, but in reading from your book, it sounds like that wasn't very hard work. It was kind of just a lot of fun.
Well, it was fun and work. It was fun and work, Scott. I still had to do what I had to do. Keep Morris and them guys safe. Well, more so, we're more bonded like brothers, though. It was like a fraternity. I see you got that, you're wearing that Laker Nation hat on, Scott. That purple and gold.
Yeah, well, I'm a fan,
Kobe,
lifelong fan.
Kobe.
What?
Kobe.
Oh man, yeah. So, but when you first met Prince, like most people say, he didn't say much to you, and it took a while to build that trust. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, when I first met Prince, I wasn't talking to Prince at all. As the years went on, we started communicating because we had to take him to and from the venues. So we eventually just started talking, communicating. Prince was a shy kid back then, a young shy teenager, a young adult. Yeah, he was a young shy guy. So he didn't just friend anybody and everybody, So, he was kept more to himself, kept that mystique, that nostalgia, that mystique there.
Was there anything in particular, Wally, that kind of helped really break the ice between he and you, where that you started talking a little bit more?
Mm, well, when he hired me, we started talking more. I mean, he didn't make a song about everybody, Scott. He made a song called Wally.
Hmm.
I mean, it is written right there. I don't need to say no more. He made a song called Wally.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like he felt pretty comfortable with you. Why do you think maybe he felt comfortable with you?
Well, my birthday, November the 10th. His mother, Maddie Baker's birthday, November the 11th. My Tate's birthday is November the 12th. It's in the signs. He was good, but he was good with Scorpios.
Huh.
He was pretty close. Maddie is the first woman in his life, his mother. And then my Tate was his soulmate, and I was his brother mate.
Wow. So you were there from 79 till 87 or
88, 88.
88, so almost 10 years.
Yes.
You were there for the meteoric rise to superstardom.
Oh yeah. From the Prince album, Dirty Mind, Controversy, 1999, Purple Rain, Around the World in a Day, Sign of the Times, Parade, Sign of the Times, all of that. I was with him when Purple Rain, he had the trifecta. He had the #1 movie, he had the #1 album, and he had the #1 tour.
Yeah, as a fan from, like I had said, I saw him at the Roxy all the way back in 78, and I was a fan from then on. Seeing him rise like he did was just amazing, and it was also thrilling, because I was a fan from the beginning and told people this guy is something special, and they're like, "Yeah,
Oh,
sure,
absolutely.
sure, Scott," and then he blew up. What was it like being on the inside, seeing that just rise happen?
It was normal for me because I wasn't new to the game. I was true to the game. I've been around the game already, so watching him rise like that, it was, it was pretty amazing, But I didn't treat him like a superstar. I treat him like Prince Roger Nelson's, like a normal human being. Maybe that's why we got along so well, because you got to have some normalcy in all the craziness.
Yeah, so you helped keep him grounded a little bit?
Oh yeah, I did keep him grounded. Yeah, so I don't know what happened after I left. I didn't know that. I mean, we still talked, but we didn't see much of each other.
Yeah. Um, I was at that parade show in '86 at the Wiltern Theater in Los
Yeah,
Angeles.
yes.
Yeah, that was the period where you started really stepping up and some of the other guys being more
Yeah, me, Greg,
visible.
and Jerome.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
everybody said that was the baddest show ever.
it was great. It was fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we was
Yeah.
working a little bit up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we was working a little bit.
Yeah. What was it like for you actually getting into the act a little bit?
Well, I was in the act, but I was still doing security for him on stage. So, they titled me the dancing security. So that's what I was, the dancing security.
So were you kind of having to be hyper alert while you were up there on stage?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when he had fans come up on the stage, you gotta really watch him close then, because you don't know what's going to happen. You know, I mean, Prince touched a lot of people's lives.
Did you ever go with him when he wasn't doing a show? Like in '83, uh, Parliament Funkadelic played the Beverly Theater in Los Angeles, and I was at that show. And they say that Prince was backstage at that show. So did you ever hang with him when he went places?
Different concerts,
Yeah.
yes.
So did you happen to be at that one?
No, I wasn't at that one, but
No.
I was at Madonna, Janet Jackson, the Jackson Five. We went to a bunch of shows.
And did you get to
James Brown.
did you get to go to the Oscars or any of those award shows, American Music Awards?
Yeah, I was on American Music Awards and I was at the Oscars.
Wow. So even with all you had done before, you had never got to do that before, right?
No, and like I said, if it wasn't for me, he wouldn't have that Oscar. So they left it on the airplane. I had to go back and get it in the overhead compartment. That's how that Oscar ended up at Paisley Park, because he left it. It was left on the plane. I had to run back and grab it.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
history.
What's that?
I said that's part of the history.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, uh, was he grateful?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Um, what do you think in all the time you were with Prince was his greatest? I mean, he had so many talents, but is there anything in particular that you thought was most amazing about Prince?
I mean, he was just an amazing person, period, like a modern day Mozart. I mean, he was that guy. He was the it factor. He had it all. He had Jimi Hendrix, James Brown, all that is wrapped in one. Most underrated guitar player, though.
Mm. Yeah, I thought that one of the really amazing things about Prince to me was he actually seemed to get better as he went. Like a
Oh,
lot of
absolutely.
most musicians, you hear them and they kind of stay the same, but he just
Right.
kept changing and elevating, and
Absolutely.
man,
I mean, he always turned the heat up. That's what he did. Great ballad writer.
oh yeah.
The greatest ballad writer ever known. Like I said, the modern day Mozart.
And you also had some vanity duty, right?
Well, yeah. Well, that was easy. The girls wasn't no problem. The girls wasn't that difficult.
Weren't there some jokers that were trying to get next to him?
Well, they were never out and exposed like that.
Mhm.
I mean, they went out, but not that much.
I think they only toured maybe that one time, right?
I believe so.
I actually dog-eared some things in your book I wanted to mention. Um, you mentioned here at some point that he Prince had an offer or could have worked with Louis Johnson, the brothers Johnson, but it didn't happen.
No, no, no. Louis Johnson, Prince was at Capitol's recording studio recording, and Louis asked me to ask Prince, did he need a bass player? And he said no, he don't like all that thumping. So, so that was that.
I found that pretty funny because
Well, Prince was a funny guy. This guy was hilarious. You know, Scott, you have no idea. This guy was unbelievable and very witty and canny and funny and smart.
yeah, definitely. You could really see. Well, everyone could see how smart he was later on. I think when he started doing more interviews, when he got older, you could see, man, this guy was sharp. Um,
Oh yeah.
what about some of the you mentioned his sense of humor? There was a lot of like sort of legendary practical joking going on with the
Oh
time
yeah,
and
yeah,
him,
yeah.
and
Yeah, he was a practical joker. Yeah, he was. He was always your mama jokes, and pulling pranks on people. I mean, that's who he was. I guess we fed off each other with that, the mama jokes. So that I mean, I truly miss the guy. He that was my brother in spirit. He was a good guy.
did he ever do any practical jokes on you?
Oh no, he couldn't get me. I mean, you can't put the joke on the Joker. You got Big Joker and Little Joker, right? So I was the Big Joker. Little Joker didn't hold no weight.
Yeah. Did you
You know,
did you did you ever help? Were you an accomplice to any of his practical jokes?
Some of them, yeah, somewhat, yes.
You know, in '87 thereabouts, I think you made a movie with Prince, The Hard Life,
Well,
which,
yes.
yeah, I was not even aware of that its existence until way later.
Wow.
Yeah. So tell the listeners and viewers a little bit about what that was.
Well, we were in rehearsal, and then we took a break, and next thing I know, he had a film crew come up in there, and we shot that right there on the spot. And so some of the crew, they were part of the party, and his guitar tech and drum tech and everybody, they was all part of the movie, the little short film.
And did you have any idea going in what it was going to be about, or?
No, I mean that's how he was. He was very spontaneous. I didn't know what. I mean all that was ad lib. We just right there on the spot. I had no script or none of that.
Did he ever say, or did you ever get a sense of what inspired him, why he wanted to do that particular story? And
Well, again, it was only two great ones, Scott. It was Ali, then it was Wally. I was this guy. I was this guy. I mean, it's written. I was his close friend.
then parts of that were in the Sign of Times movie, right?
And what part of the movie?
Were parts of The Hard Life in Sign of the Times movie?
No,
Or they were inspired, some of the segues, or?
no. Well, all that was ad lib as I went along. Again, the bar scene and the fight with the guy while they was doing the A Train with the guitar tech David Rue. I just ad libbed that into the show.
Okay. Yeah. And of course, love the Hot Thing performance.
You're right, right.
Yeah. I remember seeing that movie in the biggest theater in Westwood, California when it came out. Blew me
Uh-huh.
away. I mean, that's one of the greatest all-time concert movies.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, it was something. It was something else. Well, like I said, I was just blessed to be there in the greatness of Prince himself. That was just a blessing.
What were the Revolution band members like? Did you get to know them very well?
Well, it was all part of we were like family. We like family. Yes, I mean, if I was, yeah, we got to know the revolution because we was in the revolution. You know, Under the Cherry Moon, Girls and Boys, Mountains video.
Hmm.
We was all part of the revolution.
Was there any kind of sticky, dangerous situation or hairy situation maybe where Prince was in danger or something might have happened, but you kind of intervened in your role as security?
No, because like I said, we let the house security handle all of that. Mainly when he comes to arena or whatever, Scott, it's pretty secured.
But he felt just a whole lot better knowing you were around, I bet.
Oh well, I had his back. I had his back. I mean, I didn't play. I didn't take no stuff. Still don't take no stuff.
Before we got on for this talk right now, Wally, I happen to be watching the latest Miles Davis documentary. I don't know if you've seen
Hmm.
that, but there's a clip in it with Miles on stage with Prince.
Yes.
Yeah. It looked like maybe '87 type
Yeah, New
area.
Year's Eve. Yeah.
Were you at that?
Yeah. Yeah. I was on stage with him
Okay. Wow. Miles and Prince.
at Paisley Park, right?
I think so.
Yeah. He was on there. Prince was doing, I think, part of the Sign of the Times show, right?
It looked like it.
Yeah. 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 I was on stage with him. Yes.
Yeah, because Cat was on stage.
Oh yeah, I was up there then.
Yeah. Wow. What was it like? You were there when Paisley Park got built, right?
Yes.
Was that exciting, knowing that this place was coming to be?
Well, like I said, when he did Round the World in a Day, I had no idea Paisley Park was going to become reality, a Paisley Park for real, you know. Didn't know that.
I had Alan Leeds on this show recently.
Right.
Did you get to know him very well?
Well, I know Alan, yeah, like I said, we all family. Scott,
Yeah,
we all family. My man, Alan,
yeah,
just came out with his book.
yeah. Finally, yeah. Real glad to see that. Um, you have the story in your book about Prince's encounter with at Carlos and Charlie's with Eddie Murphy.
Oh, yeah. 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 Yes. Yes, that was something.
Do you think why do you think Eddie? So in the book, it's about meeting and I guess Prince had some money and it disappeared when Eddie disappeared, um, and you know I guess it was not long before that when Eddie Murphy recorded his hit with Rick James. So I'm wondering if there was any Rick James to Prince kind of thing there too.
Um, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, Prince was over Rick James. I mean, he was never envy of Rick James. I mean, Rick was Rick, Prince was Prince, Michael was Michael, you know.
Did Prince seem to care about Michael Jackson at all?
No, because I mean, I've never compared the two. You know, I mean, Prince arranged, composed, produced everything. Michael had a lot of producers and people with around him.
I never thought it was accurate really to compare them so much like people have done. So what inspired you to do the book?
Well, I thought it was time because, you know, Prince passing, you know, my father's passing, my mother's passing, you know, Mr. Nelson passing, you know, it was just time for the stories to be told.
Is there any stories that are not in the book?
Well, I don't kiss and tell everything, you know, I ain't gonna do all that.
Yeah. Actually, I think you had mentioned that in the book that there's stuff that Prince shared with you that you'll never tell because,
I'll take it to my grave.
yeah.
I
So,
will. I certainly will. I mean, you know, that's a true friend. You know, it's like mascot, priceless. You know, you just don't. You just certain things better left unsaid.
and you also wrote in here how when you parted with Prince, somebody else came and told you that your services would not be needed any longer.
Yeah, that was
And
Alan Lee's.
yeah, but you took it in stride, right?
Well, I look at it like I was working for the automotive company. I got a pink slip. I got laid off. I kept right on moving. I mean, the clock don't stop.
And
Came
then,
back, came back to Detroit and got a job.
okay. So did you get out of security?
Well, pretty much, I was raising my children.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was raising my two girls and three boys.
Wow. So you got five of your own.
Yes, and five grandsons.
Wow. Congratulations on that.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, but there were a couple of times afterwards that you did see Prince at a show or come in contact, right?
Well, when he came to Detroit, I would see him. Yes, I saw him when he came to Detroit. I mean, we didn't fall out or nothing. I mean, hey, it's just business.
Yeah. Well, so around the Love Sexy period is when you left, right?
Yeah, I left when they was rehearsing for Love Sexy,
Okay.
'88.
Yeah. Was the Black Album happening yet at that point, or?
Well, the Black Album was out on the black market over in Europe.
Uh-huh.
It was already out.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite Prince album or song?
Um, I can't say. I mean, this guy was so talented. I mean, each one of his albums were different facets of his life. You know, it's that his music is his autobiography, is his life.
Yeah, no doubt. But You don't have your own favorite album?
Favorite album? All of my favorites.
Very diplomatic, yeah. You know, I was looking through here, and I think one artist that you didn't mention, there's probably others you didn't mention too, but you also did Security for the Isley Brothers?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty big one too, right there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Ronnie Isley and all the brothers. That's when all of them was there. Marvin, Rudolph, O'Kelly, Chris Jasper, Ernie. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
phenomenal, phenomenal group.
Yes.
So, what were you doing in your life? What was happening in your life 4 years ago when news came of Prince's passing?
Oh, I was working for AT&T. Yeah, I worked on infrastructure, worked outside, on fiber optic, large business, small business, cell towers, you know, underground cable, aerial cable.
And like the rest of us, were you just completely shocked?
Yeah, I was shocked. I thought it was a joke when someone told me that. I thought the guy was playing on my phone. I mean, it changed it shape shifted the whole earth. I mean, this guy, the whole world turned purple.
Were you, even as a lifelong fan, I was a little surprised at how much the world took notice when he left us.
Yeah, it kind of blew me away too. But he was loved all around the world.
Yeah, as I'm sure you are, I'm so glad to see that in the aftermath, just that people are just keeping it so alive still.
Well, you have a certain selective group, the Purple Circle, Purple Fams, that celebrate his legacy every year. It moved from April to June, so that's good. And I'm sure he's up in heaven smiling down on it. I said, this man been going 4 years and still keeping chaos going on Earth. Only Prince could do that.
Yeah, no question.
That's why he called him Mr. Controversy. He kept that mystique, that nostalgia all the time.
And do you believe that there's as much in that vault as we hope and think?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's tons of music. Tons. Oh yeah.
Did he do any other videos and things like that besides Hard Life while you were there that maybe have not?
No. Mm-mm.
Uh,
No.
but a lot of concerts were filmed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So as we look back on the whole deal, what was your most unforgettable memory associated with Prince?
Most unforgettable?
Yeah. Can you pick one that was just incredible that you?
Oh, all of it was amazing, Scott. I mean, I can't pick one because every day was an adventure with him. This guy was truly amazing. I mean, every day. I mean, I can just go down a whole list. I couldn't pick a special one because every day was something special, whether we in the studio, Sunset Sound, or we at the house playing ping pong or shooting pool. And just laughing and joking the whole time, laughing. And, I think my most memorable moment, one of them was when I first came to LA in December of, I believe it was 84, 85, and I didn't see no snow on the ground. I saw decorations up on the light pole, and it was 70 degrees. That kind of blew me away. By me being from the Midwest, it's snow on the ground. So I'm riding around the limo with him. It's 75 degrees and sunny. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it.
That's what I grew up with, but now I appreciate the seasons being on the East Coast.
Oh yeah.
Is it true that he was wickedly good in ping pong, pool, and basketball?
Prince was good in everything he did. You know, he wasn't gonna let you beat him. You know, everything. But we had our battles.
Super competitive, huh?
Oh yeah, and Sheila E too. She's very super competitive.
Now, we were talking about he always kept you hopping, you know, and in your book you talk about some folks who may have told him they couldn't do something, weren't there long.
Oh yeah, all the time. Well, the word can't, which should never, he said, should never be in your vocabulary. There's no, there's no can't. There's no such thing as I can't. No, just, nothing beats a failure but a try, an effort.
Were you just kind of that way on your own always, or did you shape yourself to do that so that you satisfied what Prince expected?
But I was already disciplined before I came on board, so it was like riding a bike when I got with him.
And he was cool with you doing the other tours when he wasn't touring?
Well, I mean, at the time I wasn't on his payroll, but when I got on his payroll, I was just all exclusive to him.
Okay. And the notorious non-sleeping and doing things all hours of the night and all that. I mean, did you get wrapped up in that at all?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm still on that. I'm still nap. I was about to fall asleep before you text me. So like I said, that's normal.
So kind of taking little cat naps and then doing whatever.
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah, he would burn people out, wouldn't he, eventually?
Oh yeah, I mean, man, you be on no-dos. You be like, you got toothpicks holding your eyelids open, all of that. This guy was a well-oiled machine, like the Energizer Bunny. Constantly going, and writing music, producing music, recording music, and rehearsing music. So constantly going.
What's current and what's next for you, Wally?
Well, I'm about to get this book signing tour going. That's what I'm working on now, and then I've got a few other projects I'm working on. Just see what happens.
Do you ever go up to Minneapolis for those, events?
The celebration?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, one year, 2018, I hosted it.
Oh.
Yeah, so yeah, I go back. I go to Minneapolis quite a bit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, from my perspective, I hope that, the legacy is never less than what it is now. And
well, the younger generation, I don't know, Scott. I'm like, they like, we in the Prince, But it's up to us to pass it on, because we the last ones to pass it to them.
Yeah, definitely got to do that.
Yes.
Well, the book again, there it is right there. Make sure to get yourself a copy. Thank you for sharing these memories with all of us, Wally.
Yes. Yeah, go out and get that book. Love one another and support one another.
Yeah.
Don't meet me there, beat me there.
Hey, thank you so much, Wally, for sharing that with us and for being on the show.
I'm glad I met you, man. I heard a lot about you.
Oh,
doing great things.
Good. Well, good. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And good care, Wally.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, back at Truth and Rhythm headquarters. Thank you for joining us on another magical ride with Truth and Rhythm. Whether you're watching or listening, as always, thank you so much for your continued interest and support. Be sure to subscribe. Go to YouTube. Go to the Funk and Stuff channel. That's where Truth and Rhythm lives and breathes and thrives. Also, goodies here like TIR Quick Takes. And if you subscribe, you know what? You get the show before anyone else. It's free. If you love jazz, funk, R&B, soul, you can't miss it. Pass it along. Tell a friend. Tell family. This audience is growing, and it is a beautiful thing, all coming together for the love of this great music. Also, if you can throw us a buck or two, we could use the support financially, keeping the lights on, keeping the servers going, all these expenses. If you can help support the program, whatever you can give, much appreciated. Go to the funkinstuff.net website. On the right-hand side of every page, you just click and you can donate through PayPal, credit card, whatever. Very easy to do and so much appreciated. And if you do a sizable donation, I will mention you on the program. Also, drop me a line. Email me at ScottG@funkinstuff.net. Let me know who else you'd like to see on the show, what you enjoy about the music. Let's just kibitz and talk about stuff, talk music. You'll find that I respond very quickly, and I much enjoy the rapport and the camaraderie and the interaction. Always remember, this is your show, The True Music Lover. So for now, that's all the time we have for this one. It's a wrap. As always, Scott Dr. GX Goldfine saying, keep on vibrating to the rhythm of the one.